And so I would like somebody at your table to take a piece of matzah, take it out, and let everybody see what we're talking about here as we go through this. Because matzah, unleavened bread, is the only thing we're supposed to eat at Passover. In fact, Passover begins 7 days of unleavened bread. You're only supposed to eat unleavened bread for those 7 days. And you say, why? Why would you want to do that? I challenge you, go 7 days without eating any kind of leavened bread. By day 4, your flesh will be talking to you. I guarantee it. Because the idea here is, what does leaven represent? Represents sin, chametz in Hebrew, which means to sour, to get puffed up. And so leaven represents sin. And so what happens when you put a little bit of leaven in a lump? It leavens the whole lump. It only takes a little bit. But once that little bit gets in there, it begins to be active, and then it permeates the entire lump. What happens when we let our guard down and we just let a little bitty, seemingly trivial thing into our life? What's going to happen? It's going to grow into bigger things, isn't it? And even bigger things. And so how important is it not to mix and mingle with the things of the world, even though we're in it? It's because those things of the world, if we allow it to get into and become part of our lives, it's going to run its course and it's going to take effect in our lives, isn't it? So that's what chametz represents. That's what leaven represents, the sin. And so the Creator, in His wisdom, ordained that on this night and then for the next 7 days, we're to eat only unleavened bread, because it is symbolic of the fact that we are going to purge the old leaven out. We're going to get it out, but we want to purge these things from our lives. But also we're going to remember this. If you hold that up to the light, you can see it a little better. And I'm going to try to do this for the camera. If you can come in as close as you can on this piece of matzah. If you notice that piece of matzah, if you hold it up to the light, it's pierced. It's got holes in it. You can see through it. And though these are made in a factory, they do it that way on purpose, because the tradition is that when, beginning at the original Passover, that when they put the dough to be cooked, they had to do it in haste. They didn't have time for their bread to rise. And they even took pins and they punched or punctured holes in it so that the dough wouldn't rise. And so as they're punching it, poking these holes in it, it's cooking on a griddle or on a grill. The next thing you'll notice is it's getting burned, it's getting bruised, it's getting striped. And so even, again, though these are made in factories, they've kept this element in the matzah, that it should be pierced and that it should be striped. Now, who does that sound like? They pierced my hands and my feet. By His stripes, we are healed. And so this unleavened bread, we're going to see even more detail later on. We're going to see how it is representative of the Messiah. If you will, someone at your table, take a piece of matzah and break it, please. Here, I got you. And I want you to make sure everybody at your table has a piece of matzah. And again, we're remembering the fact that this matzah is bruised, this matzah is pierced, this matzah has no chametz. It has no leaven. Because when you leaven that dough and you put that bread in the oven, what happens to it? It gets puffed up, doesn't it? It gets puffed up and it's full of holes. But it tastes so good. Unless you let it sit out for about a week. Then what happens? It begins to putrefy. It begins to mold. And you begin to see that leaven for what it really is. You follow? But this bread has no leaven. I've got matzah in my cabinet that we've had 3-4 years. And it looks and basically tastes the same way. Why? Because it has no leaven. It's not going to be the most delicious thing that you've ever eaten, but it will sustain you. And it would continue to sustain you. And it's not going to rot and mold like the other. And so we lift this bread up with all that symbolism, and we're going to bless Him as we take of the bread. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Blessed are you, O Lord our God, King of the universe, who brings forth bread from the earth. Amen.